So I just want to welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. We're going to do a yoga flow tonight, somewhere around 60 minutes, weather permitting. And we're collecting tonight for the Montgomery County SPCA, so they're very appreciative, and I'm excited to be able to do that for them. Um, yeah, so I'm Janice, for those of you that don't know me. We'll start in a seated position. You can either start with legs crossed, or if that's uncomfortable for you, legs can be out. So we'll start here. And actually, let me grab these out of the ground so you don't trip over them. Hands resting on the legs, chin tucked slightly, lining the ribs and the shoulders up over the hips. Just feeling the body stack into place, that spine in its natural curve. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Starting to connect with your breath. Letting the day slip away. And just being here on your mat. Listen for the sound of your breath. Maybe constricting the back of the throat just a little bit, like you're trying to fog up a mirror so you get that when you breathe out. The sound of our breath can be very soothing to us in times of stress. It can help us turn down the response from the sympathetic nervous system and start to relax. On your next inhale, bring the arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands to the heart. Press the thumbs into the chest and start to connect with your heart. Just being here on your mat is an act of kindness not only to yourself, but to others and to the rest of the world. We can't take care of others until we can first take care of ourselves. Remembering that self-care begins in the body. When the heart pumps blood, it pumps blood to itself first before sending it to the rest of the body. So take this time to nourish yourself. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhaling once again, hands to heart center. Just setting my timer up. Let's do that one more time. Inhale up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. Inhaling up overhead. And on this exhale, leaning over to the right. If you end up on the opposite side, that's okay. We're going to go in both directions. Inhale back to center. Exhaling to the left. Inhaling to center. Exhaling to the right. Moving with the wind. Rooting down through the sit bones. Inhale to center. Exhale to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, turn the palms out. Bring the hands back down to the sides. Let's bring the legs out long here. Bringing the hands next to the hips, pressing down through the palms, rolling the shoulders up, back, and down. Feet are active as if you're standing on them. Stacking ribs over hips, shoulders over ribs. Pulling the head back just slightly so ears are over the shoulders, and engaging all that energy up through your core in your staff pose. Feeling every muscle engage. Inhale here and exhale, release. Bring the right knee in towards your body, and we'll take a twist here. So we'll inhale to lengthen, arms up overhead. Exhale, drop the right hand behind you and wrap your left arm around that right knee and twist to the right. Inhale to lengthen, and exhale, looking over that back shoulder if it's available to you. With each inhale, we're lengthening up through the crown of the head. With each exhale, we're twisting just a little bit deeper. Inhale back to center. Exhale, palms down by the sides. Let's, if you can, lift this leg and set the foot on the outside of the thigh. And we'll go into that twist again and just feel the slight difference in the foot position here. So inhaling the arms up overhead, and again twisting to the right. Active through the feet. Lengthening through the crown of the head with each inhale, and with each exhale twisting just a little bit deeper. And inhale back to center. And exhale, just take one turn to the left here for a counter twist. Inhale back to center and release the arms. We'll bring the left leg in, bending the knee, pressing the foot against the mat, reaching out through that right foot as if you're standing on it. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale, twisting to the left. Left arm drops behind you, right arm wraps around that left knee. Twisting in the direction of the bent knee. Good. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. Looking over that back shoulder if that's available to you. If you feel like you're leaning back too far, bring that back hand in just a little bit closer to the waist. And inhale, coming back to center. Exhale, release the arms. And let's take that foot and place it on the outside of the thigh. So inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, twisting in the direction of the bent knee. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. Just feeling that subtle difference as we change the placement of the foot. Inhale back to center. And then exhale, twisting to the right for a little counter twist. Inhale back to center, and exhale, release. Good. Let's come into butterfly quickly. Bring the soles of the feet together, maybe giving your feet and ankles a little massage here. If you've been putting pressure on them all day, and now is the time to release any of that pressure. Wiggling the toes here. Good. Take your hands and start to open the feet slightly, like a flower, as you inhale your chest forward and exhale to come down over the legs. It's not about how far you go. It's about keeping integrity in the pose. Inhale to come back to seated. And we'll take that one more time, and this time we'll round and release in a forward bend over that. So inhaling the chest forward, exhale, rounding and releasing. Maybe nodding the head, yes and no. Maybe swaying a little bit side to side. And then inhaling, rising with the breath as if it's inflating you and lifting you back up to seated. Good. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, great. So we'll make our way onto our hands and knees. So in your tabletop pose, remember that your knees are lined up under your hips and your shoulders, elbows, and wrists are in line to protect the joints. You're pressing down through all 10 fingers. As you inhale to lift the chest and the tailbone, dropping the belly toward the mat. Exhale, rounding the back, center of the shoulder blades reaches for the sky. Inhale forward, chest lifts, tailbone lifts, cow pose. Exhale, rounding the back, dropping the tailbone, dropping the head for cat pose. Do a few more of those with your own breath. Inhaling forward into cow and exhaling into cat. Bringing some nice mobility into the spine here. Inhaling forward and exhaling back. Wonderful. On your next inhale, make your way back to a neutral spine. And just start to move the hips from side to side, wagging your tail a little bit. Bringing the hips to the right, looking over the right shoulder. Bringing the hips to the left, looking over the left shoulder. Good. Inhale back to neutral spine. Exhale, bring the big toes together, spread the knees wide, sink your hips back towards your knees, reach your arms out in front of you as you bring your forehead to the mat for child's pose. If your forehead doesn't reach the mat, you can rest the forehead on a block, Or you can stack your fists or your hands underneath the forehead to give it a place to rest and experience that sense of ease. Take a few breaths here, feeling not only the belly and the chest expand, but also the back as the air moves into every part of your lungs. Inhale, lift the chest slightly. Exhale the body over to the right. And drop in back into your child's pose. Good. Yeah. Inhale, bringing yourself back to center. Exhale, moving the hands to the left and dropping the body over the left knee. Inhale, coming back to center, rising back up into your tabletop, and moving the hands forward as you start to slide down onto your belly, whatever way works for you to get there comfortably. Hands are underneath the shoulders as we pull the elbows and the shoulder blades back, peeling the chest off the mat. So not putting a lot of pressure into our hands here, more contracting our back muscles so you can almost lift your hands off the mat. Inhale here and exhale, release. Inhale to rise, zipping the inner thighs together, feeling the pubic bone press into the mat. Exhale, release. Inhale to rise, elbows and shoulder blades pulling back, chest peeling off the mat. Great. Exhale, release. And this time, if you'd like to put a little pressure into the hands, inhale, you can come up a little bit further into your cobra, keeping the integrity here. Head in neutral spine, elbows and shoulders reaching back, pelvis still on the mat. And exhale, release. Inhale, tucking the toes here, all 10 toes tucked into the mat. Starting to push up into your hands here. And exhale, lifting the hips up and back into your first downward facing dog. Pressing deeply into all 10 fingers, pedaling the feet, bending the left knee, straightening the right leg, and then bending the left knee, straightening the other way. Moving your shoulders back so the armpits are hugging in towards the heart. And the eye of the elbow is moving towards the front of your mat. Relaxing the head and neck. If this is ever too much for you, you can always come down to your knees to tabletop or back to child's pose. Inhale as you start to step towards your hands. As many steps as it takes for you to get there into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, bringing your hands to your shins, reaching forward through the crown of the head. Spine is long. Exhale, back into your forward fold. Maybe hands find opposite elbows here as you start to sway back and forth. Nodding and shaking the head to release the neck. You could also bring your hands to a block here if this is uncomfortable for you. You can bring your hands to your knees, whatever feels good to you. This is your practice. Inhale, bring your hands to your legs and start to roll up one vertebra at a time, bending the knees, using the legs if you need to. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. Great. We build our standing poses from the ground up. So bring your feet about hip width apart. Lift your toes, spread the toes wide, and then plant them back down onto the mat. When you do that, you get a nice lift through the arch of the foot. Feel the ankles engage, the muscles of the legs wrap around the bones, the kneecaps lift. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down, and turn the palms forward as you tuck your chin slightly and pull your head back to line your ears up over your shoulders for your mountain pose. Tall and strong and steady. Great. Inhale, lift the hands overhead, shrugging the shoulders away from the ears, maybe reaching up through the pinkies to help with that. And exhale, turning the palms out, bringing the hands back down to the sides. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, hands back down to the sides. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. Take a moment here to breathe, to connect with your heart, to nourish yourself with this movement and this breath. And we'll make our way to the front of the mat. If you have blocks here, you might like to use them. You might want to put them on opposite sides of the feet here as we move into our low lunge. And if anybody wants blocks, I have an extra set, so you can just raise a hand if you'd like some. So we'll inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come to the floor or to your blocks as you step your right leg back and lower the knee to the mat, relaxing the back toes. Feeling that stretch through your hip flexor as you lift the chest and open it forward, using your blocks or fingertips or bringing the hands to the thigh. Thighs are pulling towards midline here, wrapping this back hip forward as the front hip comes back to keep the hip square. Maybe inhaling the arms up overhead here. And on the exhale, hinging back at the hip, straighten that front leg, pointing the toes toward your nose as you move into your half split. Try to keep the chest moving forward here. Again, this is a good place for blocks if you have them. Inhale back into your low lunge. Exhale, half split. You can also do this variation with the arms back. Inhale, low lunge. Beautiful. Exhale, half split. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, hands come to the mat. Inhale, lift the back knee and step forward to meet your front foot in your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, bringing your hands back to the mat or the blocks. Inhale, stepping the left foot back now and lowering the knee to the mat, relaxing that back foot. Pressing down through the feet, opening the chest, feeling that stretch in the hip flexor as the thighs pull towards midline. Bring the hands to the thigh, chest is open. If you'd like, inhaling the arms up overhead, maybe bringing in just a slight back bend here for the upper back. And your Anjaneyasana, or pose of devotion. Exhale, hinging back at the hips, straightening that front leg, pointing the toes towards your nose. Inhale into your low lunge. Exhale, half split. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, half split. Whatever arm variation you like here. Inhale into your low lunge. One last beautiful breath here. Exhale, hands to the mat. Inhale, firing up that back leg, lifting the knee, stepping forward to meet your front foot. Exhale into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, rolling all the way up to stand. Arms come up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. Find your way to the front of the mat if you're not already there. Inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, stepping back into your plank pose. Suspiciously looking like the top of a push-up. Exhale, knees down, lie down. Inhale, elbows back, shoulders back, peeling your chest off the mat for your cobra. Exhale, hips up and back into your downward facing dog. Inhale here, pedaling the feet. Exhale, step forward towards your hands into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling all the way up to stand, arms coming up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center, and you just did your first sun salutation. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stepping back into your plank pose. Exhale, lowering down to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale, stepping forward into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up or with a flat back, reversing that swan dive all the way up. Hands coming up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. Great. Just a couple more. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stepping back into your plank pose. Exhale, lowering down to the mat. Inhale, chest comes forward, cobra. Exhale, tucking the toes, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhaling here, pedaling the feet if that feels good to you. Exhale, stepping forward into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, coming up in whatever way feels good to you, whether that's rolling up, walking up the legs, or reversing that swan dive, exhaling, hands to heart. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, stepping back into your plank pose. Exhale, lowering down to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, tucking the toes, hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale here, and listen, because I'm changing things up. Exhale. Inhale, stepping your right leg forward between the hands. If it takes you a couple of steps to get there, that's okay. You can adjust it as you go. All 10 toes pointing forward. Back heel is lifted. Start to walk your hands up the thigh into your crescent pose. Lifting the arms overhead. If you're feeling unsteady here, you may need to widen your stance this way a little bit, like your feet are on 2 train tracks. Bring in that little back bend here if you're feeling stable. Good. And then exhale, bringing the hands to the mat. And now, inhale, turn all 10 toes to the right. Bringing the side of your left foot onto the mat. So you're in this modified side plank. And then lifting the right arm. Everybody okay there? You can lower the knee if you need to. Beautiful. Take one last inhale here. Try to open the chest a little bit more toward the sky. And exhale, bringing that hand down, turning all 10 toes forward again. Inhale, step back into your downward facing dog. Exhale here. Inhale, bringing the left foot forward between your hands. And just taking a moment here. Another breath here. And on your next inhale, start to walk your hands up the thigh. Maybe bringing the hands to the sky. Hugging those front ribs in. Pulling the thighs towards each other. Wrapping this right thigh forward. Good. Inhale here. Maybe bringing in that little back bend. Exhale the hands to the mat. And inhale, turning all 10 toes to the left now, coming onto the side of the right foot. Planting the left foot into the mat as you lift your left arm overhead. Good. Stay there or bring that left arm out forward over the head. Good. Looks great. Inhale here. And exhale, bring that hand back to the mat. Turn all 10 toes forward and step back into your downward facing dog. Good. Shift forward into your plank. Lower the knees, lower the belly. Cobra. Tuck the toes, lift up and back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, stepping forward as many steps as you need to get there. Exhale into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, coming up in whatever way feels good to you. Exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. That was great. Let's bring the stance wide here. So wide on the mat, facing the long edge of your mat. Good. Turn the right toes forward, towards the short edge of the mat, and bend deeply through the right knee. Bringing the arms out wide into your warrior two. Flip the palms up to release the shoulders towards each other, and then just flip the palms back down. Good. Look out over the right middle finger. You're strong and steady here. Inhale to straighten the knee, and exhale to lower. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, lower, rooting down through the outside edge of that back foot. Inhale, left hand either comes to the waist or starts moving down the thigh as you lift your right palm for reverse warrior. Take a couple of breaths here. Inhale and exhale back into your warrior two. And straighten that front leg. Good. From here, we're going to reach forward as far as we can. You may want to use your block for this. And then start to lift through this left side as we bring our right hand down to the leg, to the mat, or to a block in our triangle pose. If the arm is just kind of hanging there, rest it on your leg. You'll get a lot more support there. Just avoid the knee joint. Good. Sweep that top hand forward so that it's reaching out over the crown of your head, making a nice long angle with that back foot. So towards me, Maureen. Reaching towards me, sorry. Good. And then inhale, coming back up, bending the knee into your warrior two for one last beautiful minute. And then rise. Good. That was great. So we'll turn and do that to the other side. So left toes towards the short edge of the mat, right toes towards the long edge of the mat, bending deeply through the front knee and rooting down through the back foot, especially that back edge of the back foot. Your knee of the front leg should be tracking out over the middle of the foot, sort of toward like the second and third toe. Let's lift the arms, extending the arms out from our heart. Flip the palms to release the shoulders, and then flip the palms back toward the ground, looking out over our left middle finger with a strong gaze for our warrior two. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, bend the knee. Keeping the knee over the ankle here. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Keeping that deep bend in the front knee, start to move that right hand to the waist or down the thigh as you lift your left palm for reverse warrior. Feeling that beautiful side body stretch. Good. Inhale back into your warrior two and straighten the leg. And we'll shift forward into our triangle. So starting at the waist, shifting the body forward, reaching out as far as you can, and then bringing that right arm high as you bring your left arm to the leg. Opening the chest. Gaze can be down or up or straight ahead, whatever feels good to you. Then sweep that arm around and bring it out over the crown of your head, creating that beautiful angle from the back foot through the front arm. Awesome. Good. Take another breath here. And then inhale to rise back up into your warrior two. And exhale here. And then inhale, straighten. Great. Let's bring the feet parallel to each other, facing the long edge of the mat. We'll keep our stance nice and wide here. I'll turn this way so you guys can see me. And start to interlace the fingers behind the back. If you can't do that, see if you can just bump the fists together or just reach out and back of you with the palms up like that. So if you're interlaced, you're going to roll the shoulders up, back, and down. As you begin to hinge forward at the hips, leading with your chest, head in neutral spine. Maybe the arms move away from the body, or maybe they just rest on your lower back, getting that nice shoulder stretch. Releasing into that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, release. Keeping the arms in that position if you can. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, releasing the arms to the mat and releasing into your forward fold. On your next inhale, bringing the hands to the legs, bending the knees, and rolling back up to stand. Great. So either at the front of your mat or facing me, wherever you're comfortable, we're going to move into a little balancing. So bringing the feet a little closer together so that your big toes are almost touching. Spread the toes on each foot and bring all your weight and attention to that right leg as you begin to lift the left heel off the mat and press it against the right ankle, opening that left knee for tree pose. Now you can stay here. You can even have your toes on the mat. Or if you're feeling great and you want to see how your tree holds up to this wind, you can start to lift the foot up the leg, keeping that knee open. Pressing the leg and the foot against each other like you're trying to hold something there. Hands can be on your waist. Hands can come to the heart. Or you can lift your arms, spreading your branches. If you're struggling with balance, try to pick a spot in front of you that's not moving, so not the person in front of you, and fix your gaze on that spot. Exhale, lowering the arms and lowering the leg. Good. So we'll transfer now all the weight and attention into the left foot. You okay? Spreading the toes wide as we lift the right heel off the mat and open the right knee. And again, bringing that foot to wherever you feel comfortable. The goal is to keep that right knee externally rotating. Good. Maybe you lift here, or maybe you just want to keep that foot on the mat today, and that's fine. You get all the benefits of the pose there. Spreading your branches, foot and leg actively pressing into each other. Exhale, releasing the arms and releasing the leg. Good. Let's inhale, bringing the right foot in back of you. So you're gonna almost like you're kicking it back and take hold of that foot. If you can't do that, just keep the foot here. If this is good, stay here. If you'd like a little more, you can flip your grip to the inside of your foot and begin to hinge forward at the hips, reaching out with that left arm, pressing the foot and the hand against each other for dancer. Really hinging from the hips here. Great. And then inhaling, exhaling, coming back up. Awesome. So we'll try that on the other side. So foot comes up. If you don't feel comfortable lifting the foot, the variation I would give you is keeping the foot on the mat and then doing a lean forward at the hips here. And then as you feel comfortable, maybe lifting into like a mini warrior 3. So let's try lifting the foot here. Pressing the foot and the hand against each other to get a little stretch, staying here if that feels good, or bringing the hand to the inside of the foot. Lifting the leg as you press the foot and the hand against each other and lean forward at the hips for dancer. Keep going, stay there. Good. Inhaling, don't forget to breathe here. Picking that spot in front of you for your balance. And exhale, gently coming out, gently releasing the foot back down to the mat. Beautiful. Great. Let's try a little transition from tree like we did last week. We did our little tree crescent warrior flow, so we'll work that again, and you guys will be able to do this because it's all stuff that we just went over. So we'll start at the top of our mat. Toes are spread wide, but feet are fairly close together. We'll transfer all the weight into the left foot as we lift our right heel and lift that leg into tree, wherever it feels good to you, avoiding the knee joint. So you're either above or below the knee, pressing the foot and the leg against each other. Lift the arms to the sky, looking for your balance point. Inhale here. Exhale. On the next inhale, floating that right leg back into crescent. All 10 toes pointing forward, back heel is lifted. Bringing in that slight back bend here, hugging those front ribs in. Exhaling here. And then as you inhale, start to lean forward at the hips and pull that front leg towards you. Or the back leg, sorry. Straightening the front leg, lifting the back leg. Hands can be out in front of you, at the heart, in back of you, or out to the sides if that helps with your balance for Warrior 3. Let's take a few breaths here. Rotating that back thigh in so that your toenails are pointing towards the mat. Reaching out through that back leg. Inhale here. Exhale back into your crescent pose. Great. And then inhale, stepping forward to meet that front leg. How do you guys do with that? How was that? Good? Okay. So we'll switch sides. We'll shift all our weight onto the right foot now and lift that left heel off the mat, opening that left knee. Wherever you want to go in your tree, above or below the knee. Try lifting the arms, spreading your branches, taking a couple of breaths here. And then on the next inhale, floating that back, the left leg back into your crescent pose. Front knee is deeply bent, lined up over the ankle. Let's bring that little back bend in here, reaching up through the pinkies. Good. And on your next inhale, start to hinge forward at the hips as you pull that back leg towards you, straighten the front leg, lifting the back leg. If you'd like, if you don't want to, you can leave it right on the mat, just balancing on those tippy toes. Straightening that leg, micro bend in the front knee for Warrior 3. Taking flight here. Good. Inhaling. Exhaling back into your crescent pose. Beautiful. Superheroes. Inhale, stepping forward to meet that front leg. Good. Exhale. Let's take a moment to just shake things out here. So taking the feet slightly wider than hip distance. Arms are nice and loose, and we begin to rotate the body here. Allowing the arms to hang free, make contact with the hips. Maybe bringing one arm to the chest as the other arm wraps the waist. Maybe bringing one arm over to pat yourself on the back for that awesome Warrior 3 that you just did. And then finding your way back to the waist, back to center, back to stillness. Good. And back to the front of the mat. Inhale here, shifting your weight back just slightly, lowering your hips into chair pose. So the weight is back towards the heels. You can lift your toes slightly off the mat. Reaching up as you sink down, getting that beautiful opposing action of falling and rising at the same time. Inhale here. Exhale, bring the hands to the heart. And inhale as you start to twist to the right. Opening through that right shoulder. Pressing the left elbow against the right knee for your chair twist. Awesome. Good. Inhaling back to center, staying in your chair, bringing the arms up overhead. Exhale, palms together, hands to the heart as you make your way into the twist on the other side. Really opening through that left shoulder. You can lift that top arm if you'd like to. Inhale. Exhale here, and then inhale back to your chair, and then exhale into your forward fold. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step back into your plank pose. Exhale, lower the knees, lower down to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet here. Take a nice deep inhale here. And as you exhale, come down to your knees. Bring the big toes together. Spread the knees wide. Sink back into your child's pose. And just take a moment here to connect back up with your breath. And to scan the body, feeling any areas that are tight or feeling particularly good right now, as we start to move down onto the mat for the rest of our practice. Inhale, coming back up and making your way to a seat. We'll come back into that butterfly pose, moving our wings a little bit here. Inhaling the chest forward, exhaling, just allowing yourself to drape over the legs here. Inhaling back to center. Exhaling the legs out long in front of you. Feet are active. Inhale the arms up overhead. And exhale, leading with the chest coming forward over the legs into your seated forward fold. And remembering that yoga is not about touching your toes, it's about what you learn on the way down. Inhale, coming back up to a seat. And exhale, folding forward one more time. Just to where you feel that sensation of stretch in the back of the legs. Every day is different. Every practice is different. So no expectation, no pressure. Inhale to rise. And we'll bend our knees and plant our feet into the mat in front of us. Bringing the hands to the backs of the knees, so you're almost using this little tendon here as a handle. Make sure you're in the center of your mat for this, so you have space in front of you and behind you. Pulling the chest forward, rolling the shoulders back. Start to lift one leg and then the other leg. Maybe putting a little less and less pressure in the toes, as you rely more on your core, which is a lot of what keeps us steady. And there's even some evidence that it affects our emotional resilience as well. Inhale, see if you can bring both legs up for boat. Beautiful. And they don't have to be straight here. The legs can be bent. Maybe you release your arms forward. Or maybe you've got one leg up and the arms forward. Awesome. Good. And exhale, release. Great. Let's make our way onto our backs. First, just windshield wiper the legs back and forth. Take a moment here. Inhale, pulling the knees into the chest. Making some circles on the mat with the low back, rocking back and forth. Getting a nice release here. Inhale, pull the right knee into the chest and send the left leg out long. Good. Make some circles with that right hip and knee in one direction and then the other. Good. Inhale, bend the left leg, plant the foot into the mat as you lift your right foot toward the sky. Exhale, lower your right foot to the top of your left knee. for figure 4 or reclined pigeon. You can stay here, maybe gently pushing that thigh away from you, or you can reach in between the legs and interlace the fingers around the back of the thigh, relaxing your shoulders back onto the mat. So shoulders and head are on the mat. Take a few breaths here. Maybe rocking back and forth a little bit if that feels good to you. Inhale. And on your next exhale, lower the left foot. Inhale, raise the right foot up to the sky, maybe reaching around and grabbing the back of the thigh and gently giving it a pull towards you. Exhale, releasing the right foot to the mat. Inhale, pulling the left knee in, send the right leg out long. Make some circles with that left thigh or left hip and knee in one direction and then the other. Inhale, bend the right knee and plant it into the mat as you extend the left foot toward the sky. Inhale here and exhale, bring the right foot to the left foot to the right knee. Maybe you stay here, pressing the left thigh away slightly. Or maybe you reach through the legs and interlace your fingers around the back of the right thigh, shoulders relaxed on the mat. As you pull the right thigh towards you and move the left knee away. Inhale here. Exhale, release the right foot to the mat. Inhale the left foot back toward the sky. Maybe interlacing your fingers around the back of the thigh and gently giving it a pull towards you. Inhale here. And exhale, release. Let's give ourselves another moment to just move the legs back and forth here. And then slide the feet in towards you a little bit so that maybe you can brush the backs of your heels with your fingers. If you can't, that's okay. Just bring them as close as you can. And planting down through the feet and the hands, start to lift your pelvis off the mat into bridge pose. So maybe this time just the pelvis comes up slightly, and then exhale, release back down to the mat. On your next inhale, maybe the pelvis and the low back come off the mat. Pushing up through the hips, like they're being pulled by an invisible string toward the sky, keeping the knees moving towards each other, hip distance apart, not letting them splay out to the side. Exhale, coming down one vertebra at a time. This time when you inhale, lift the hips and also bring your arms overhead. So hips are lifted, arms are lifted, now relaxing in back of you if you can. Exhale, lowering the arms, lowering down one vertebra at a time. Hands and hips find the mat at the same time. Let's try that one more time. So inhale, lifting the hips, lifting the arms. Good. And exhale, releasing everything back down to the mat. So if you have a block, we'll go into a supported bridge. Would anyone like a block to do a supported bridge? I'll bring some around. Want one? So you're going to push into the heels and lift the hips on the inhale, and then on the exhale, you'll release your hips onto the block. Here you go. Jay, you want one? Okay. So inhale to lift the hips, and then exhale, release the hips onto the block. The block is under your sacrum, the lowest part of your low back. Did you want one? Katie's got an extra one. And just allow yourself to be supported here. You can turn the palms up if you're in supported bridge, because you don't need to press in here. Good. And we'll just take another moment here. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, press into the feet, lift your hips, and remove that block. And then exhale, coming down one vertebra at a time. Good. So we'll move into a twist here. So inhale the knees back into the chest and bring the hands out wide to a T. Exhale the knees over to the right. Shoulders and head are on the mat. Your right hand can come to the top of the left knee. You can rest the knees on a block if you'd like for more support. Your gaze can be up over the left arm or in the same direction as your knees for a little more restorative version of this pose. Take a few moments to breathe here. Feel the openness in your spine and your chest. If that's uncomfortable for the arm being out straight, you can bend it and place it on your waist. Inhale, coming back to center. And then exhaling the knees to the left. And again, arms can be out wide, or you can bring your arms in, rest them on your belly. You can rest your knees on a block. You can take the left hand and place it on top of the right knee. Taking a moment here. Inhale the knees back to center. Make some circles with the low back again here. On your next inhale, bring everything together. Bring the head up off the mat. Bring the knees toward the head. Inhale a little bit more. Inhale a little bit more. Hold the breath here. And then exhale, just release everything down onto the mat for Shavasana. It's where we leave it all here. So take a moment to reconnect with your breath. Feet are out wide, hands are out wide, or maybe you prefer to rest one hand on the belly and one hand on the heart. If you want to put another layer on, now is a good time to do that. We'll just take a few moments here to rest. This pose is as important as any other pose in our practice, if not more. This is where we integrate everything that we've done. And we take a moment here to allow our bodies to recognize the sensations that we've created, the strength that we've built, the heat that we've built, and to reconnect with the breath. Reconnect with our heartbeats, remembering that the heart needs to pump blood to itself before pumping blood to the rest of the body. Self-care begins inside of us. And I'd like to share with you a quote from The Alchemist. When we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too. And that's where the power of love comes in. Because when we love, we always strive to become better than we are. So taking this time to love yourself and to give back to your community, you really are making the world around you a more beautiful and a better place. A place of ease and a place of peace for everyone that you care about and for yourself. Take a few more breaths here. Shavasana means corpse pose, which sounds sort of morbid, but then we remember that every time that we step on our mat, we have a chance to rebirth ourselves, to leave behind habits and practices that no longer serve us, and to move into a new phase of our lives. On your next inhale, start to wiggle your fingers and toes, bringing movement back into the body. Maybe moving your hips or your neck, your shoulders. Then when you're ready, coming over onto one side and taking a moment in that fetal pose Knees into chest. Just to recognize that this is a time of rebirth and a chance for us to begin again. And you can carry this with you. Every moment can be that for you. On your next inhale, start to push yourself up to a seated position. Finding a place where you're comfortable. Maybe the eyes are still closed. Maybe you're allowing them to flutter open here. We'll inhale the arms up overhead. And exhale, palms together, hands to heart center. Just taking a moment to connect with our breath and our heart. I thank you all for joining me today and for taking this time to care for yourselves and in turn care for the world around you. Inhale here. Exhale, bring the thumbs to the forehead, maybe giving yourself a little massage here. Taking a nice inhale here, and then exhale, releasing the hands to the sides to seal your practice. Thank you all again. I hope to see you again soon.